What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast, and we have got a show for you. And but Before we get going, let's take care of some business. We have been throwing a local company's baits here of late called Lurch's Lures, and we have been tearing them up. And if you like some micro chatterbaits or micro vibrating jigs, uh, Randy with Lurch's Lures has built some that are phenomenal. We've been tearing up some smallmouth, some largemouth, whatever wants to hit it. We have been tearing them up, and we've been the
Bruiser
pairing
bait.
them with the Bruiser Bait Super Swimmer Junior, and
Hmm.
so guys, go check them out on FB because I don't know we could say it on the other platforms, but go check them out on FB at Lurch's Lures and go grab some, and you will definitely enjoy them. But guys, if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett.
I'm Pappy J. What's up there to all my fellow American people? Hey guys, we got a good one tonight with our salute to Valor. This one kind of hits a little home to me. He was my staff sergeant in the military. We deployed together. But Staff Sergeant Tally Hope, phenomenal dude. But he served in Iraq. He done 2 tours in Iraq. He done a tour in Afghanistan. He spent 20 years in the military. Um, just a phenomenal guy. I mean, he is where I can't even put in words what he really means to me. But again, I mean, just a shout out goes to all of our men and women in uniform that keep us safe here in stateside. Without them, we can't do what we do. What we love to do: fish, hunt, spend time with our family while they're out over there doing the things that they got to do to keep us safe. So, Tally Hope, I love you, brother. Appreciate you, man. And now all the men and women, same goes to you. Thank y'all for what y'all do.
Yep, for sure, for sure. So let's uh let's go on and let's introduce our our guest for tonight. Guys, if you do not know this gentleman, he has, I don't know if there has been a series that he has not taken it by storm. You've
Yeah.
got a three-time Bassmaster High School National Championship, won some college titles,
Mm-hmm.
Bassmaster Elite Angler. Um, then last year won Bassmaster Elite Rookie of the Year. Also has already claimed Lake Fork for this year. He is tearing them up, guys. And if you don't know, Alabama's own Tucker Smith. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Man, if we had it any better, we'd be riding down the road to go do some fishing.
You got that right.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Man,
Man,
I've been looking for this interview or this for a while. Well, matter of fact, since the classic, since we talked to you, I mean, dude, it's been great. It was awesome talking to you there at the classic in Knoxville. But yeah, we've both been talking about it and chomping at the bit to say the least. But how you been doing though? How's everything been going for you so far?
I've been good. I've been good. I've been fishing a bunch. I've been fishing around the house. I've been home for a couple weeks, so I've been fishing around Gunnersville and the Coosa River a little bit. And right now, I'm headed up to pre-practice for the Pasquotank River, which is you know several weeks away. So just trying to get some experience out there. I haven't pre-practiced yet this year um, at all, but Pasco Tank is a place that I wanted to go pre-practice because it's such a big place that just figuring out some areas where there's some bass is a big deal. So yeah, I'm headed out there right now, just driving.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Now, so is that normal for you not to get much pre-practice in on lakes, or do you prefer to have uh, little practice on them?
It just depends. Like honestly, like the last couple of years, I haven't done a ton of pre-practicing um, because a lot of times the fish change a lot
Right.
by the time we get there, and they're doing something different. But it helps like when you go to a place like that's pretty sketchy, or you got to learn how to run the place a little better because for shallow water or timber or whatever it might be. But it helps to figure out how to run around some of those places because some of these places we go to, running around the place is half the issue. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I like to do it when I can. I haven't really done it much this year or last year, but it's something that you could do on your off time while we've got a little bit of time until the next one.
Right now, yeah, because I know that y'all've had some tournaments here this year uh, that a lot of the you guys have had to replace some props, from what I've seen.
Yeah, Tom Bigby and Arkansas River were pretty sketchy. They
Yeah,
were really
yeah.
sketchy.
Um, so with you being, I guess you could honestly be. I mean, people can say that you're one of the most decorated young angler in the sports. You know, with the three Bassmaster High School national championships, some college titles, um, and then with the Bassmaster Elite win on Lake Fork. What has been the biggest mindset shift from junior competition to full time fishing the Elite Series?
Uh, that's a tough question. I mean, it's honestly like the competition gets better and better, you know, each level. And on the Elite Series, it's honestly insane how good these guys are. Every single person, you know, like when you're fishing college and high school, you've got a lot of times you've got those 10% guys that are always catching them, always, you know, winning or placing very high. But it seems like in the Elite Series, it's anybody can win the tournament. Everybody's just so good. So I mean, honestly, going from high school to college to the opens to the elites, it's been kind of like a ladder for me. I've been spending a ton of time on the water, you know, in the last 10 to 12 years, and just getting a lot of experience out there. That's been the biggest thing. College was a huge experience for me to be able to go to a lot of these different lakes around the country that a lot of the opens go to and the elites as well, and being
Right.
able to travel out there with a buddy that you know you've got somebody with you if something happens, or you know you can go through that trial and error stuff, you know, like traveling on the road and you know stuff happens on the water, whatever it might be. You've got somebody there to help you out, which is an awesome thing. So I really encourage people to try to shoot for college fishing if they want to make it a reality, just to get that experience traveling around, and you've got a team that's backing you. You've got a buddy that you fish with that's there with you just in case something happens, and it's a great experience. But you know, like I was saying, the Elite Series is it's just it's next level, man. It looks crazy on paper. It looks, you know, from an outside view looking in, it's like, you know, you go to these lakes and you see everybody that's weighing in these bags or whatever, and you're like, oh, I think I could make a top 50 and get away with a check at that one, you know, pretty easy. But
Right.
you you go out there and fish against those guys, and I'll tell you, I've never seen a tournament trail where every single day, pretty much of the elites, the weights get better and better. Like the guys are figuring them out every single day, better and better. Which usually the weights drop, but in the elites, that's like really not the case. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's one thing that that I enjoy uh, watching y'all because, especially on a lake that going into like let's say day one that y'all may say like 12. I need 12 pounds, and then uh, and then like after like day one hits, and then everything's like I actually instead of 12 pounds I need like 18. And it's amazing to see that progression of like as the days go on, and if it's big enough fishery
Hey,
you'll
can y'all hear
see that.
me?
Yeah, can
Yeah,
you
yeah, we got you.
hear us?
Yeah, we got you. Can you hear us, Tucker? You got us?
You there, Tucker?
At I-20, man, it's sketch.
Yeah. So guys, he's on his way to do some pre-fishing, and so he's actually driving.
There he is.
There we go. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you
Hey,
hear
can you
us?
hear us? He'll be right back.
Yeah.
So, but kind of like Pappy, like we've been watching and we've seen like the Arkansas River and stuff like that, and they were saying like going into like day one that they thought that it may be that they needed like 10, 12 pounds
Mm-hmm.
a day is what they were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I think it ended up being to where they needed like 18, 19 pounds. And it's happened a couple times this year that it's been kind of like that.
Yeah.
10 years. Yep.
Yeah, we got you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, the whole like sound and everything just turned off. I couldn't hear anybody. That was weird.
Oh yeah. That might be that I-20 deal.
I've got full bars of service. That's weird.
Yeah. It's all good. So uh we that's one thing like what you're saying is like kind of seeing the progression as the tournament goes on. Uh if the place can hold like be able to hold uh if it has enough fish to hold where people can actually it can stand y'all fishing on it for the full tournament. But the weights definitely, especially this year, I've seen where the weights have gone up each day to where um, y'all what y'all were expecting to have to be able to go through to fish till Sunday was not uh, was not even close really to kind of the weight that you really needed.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy the weights that these guys bring in, and it's pretty insane. I've like that tournament that I won on Lake Fork, the Elite. It's like I had to have one of the some of the best days of fishing that I've ever had in my life to be able to win that tournament. And it seems like to get a top 10, you've got to have an unbelievable week as well,
Yeah,
obviously. But it's like it's more to the extent like you're having some of the best days on the water, like making the best decisions and catching some giant fish to have even a chance at doing that. But yeah, those guys are insane, man. It's wild fishing on the elites, but it's a dream of mine, and I'll finally be
so
able to do it.
right now with on talking about your win on Lake Fork with what you had almost what 100 or you had 127 pounds something like that.
That's mighty.
Yeah, it was 127 pounds for 4 days.
Man,
That
and
is crazy.
so is was that the most like in a 4 day tournament that you've had like most weight you've ever had?
Oh yeah, for sure. That was like, I think it was like seventh, or I was like almost top five. I think it was like seventh all time Bassmaster like heaviest weights ever.
Right.
So it was like top 10 heaviest 4 day total ever in Bassmaster history. It was crazy.
So, so out of those 4 days that you was fishing Lake Fort, Tucker, what were you able to do or closely do the same thing that you did on day one through day four, or did you have to change it up each day?
No, I had to adjust a lot. I actually found, I think, three new areas that I was fishing during the tournament, which is something that I've had to do a lot this
Mm-hmm.
year and in the last several years is being able to adjust on the fly and fishing by the seat of your pants, using the tournament even as practice
Mm-hmm.
because the fish are constantly changing and everything's constantly adapting. So yeah, I mean, I was fishing offshore. I was fishing groups of fish at Lake Fork, but I was, catching some fish, and then I was having to find new schools and new areas to fish, and then I was also having to find the peak times when those schools would fire and when they would bite and when they were set up the best. So I had to do a lot of maneuvering around the lake. I had to do a lot of fishing, a lot of scanning. It was truly a dream come true. It was really special, and I spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time using my side scan and fishing offshore, living on Lake Gunnersville, and it's something I'm really comfortable with. So, kind of having a tournament set up like that for me was really awesome, and to be able to pull it off with some giant fish on one of the biggest bass factory lakes in the world, it was really special for sure. It was awesome.
Now
I could only imagine.
going
Now,
into going in like for the people that maybe didn't know or didn't watch or something. So what were you throwing and what technique were you doing that was putting your fish in the boat?
Yeah, I was mixing it up. I was throwing a big 7-inch minnow, and then as well as a 3/4 ounce football jig, Picasso jig with a Yamacraw on it, and then I also swam up a big one the final day on a swim jig on a Shad's pond. But most of the 1-2 punch for me was a big minnow and a football jig, and that's something that I've got a lot of confidence in. I would pull up to those places and get those schools fired up on the minnow, and then I would switch over to a jig once the schools kind of set back down and they kind of settled, and then I would catch a couple more key bites once those schools would settle down on that jig.
yeah. So, and that sounds like something that you would definitely be throwing on Gunnersville. So it kind of
Mm-hmm.
seemed like it's a definitely like a comfort go to type of way of fishing. I mean, if it was me thinking about it, I mean, because we're here on Chickamauga, and we throw a lot of football head jigs and some big swim baits and stuff like that. And so is that a confidence bait for you with being what having Gunnersville right there and what Logan Martin too, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I try to do a lot um, in these tournaments is throw a lot of baits that I'm confident in. I mean, that's you see a lot of new baits coming out on the market and stuff, and I try that kind of stuff, when I'm fun fishing and all that, and fishing new places. But when it comes to tournament time, I'm really trying to focus on what I've got confidence in, and uh, and it seems to be better that way when you're fishing something that you're comfortable fishing, and that you can get some bites on. So yeah, I usually try to keep it simple when it comes to baits that I select during tournament time, just stuff that I'm usually confident in. But yes, I've spent a lot of time throwing minnows and football jig, especially. I, uh, I actually have spent a lot. It's probably I don't know. I'd say more time with a football jig probably than a minnow. So I love both of those baits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they're
uh,
good baits to throw.
they are. I have grown to here the past 4 or 5 years to like throwing the minnow. I
Uh,
grew up throwing a Texas rig, and then I had to convert myself to get the bigger bites to start throwing the jigs and stuff. Um, but they definitely are something that is always on the deck of the boat every time that we go out.
Well,
So,
I tell you, Colin and Tucker. Colin and I went out a couple of times this past week, and then Sunday I got to go with my brother over at Niggajack, and you know, right now, I mean, it's kind of sporadic. I mean, you could almost throw a naked hook in the water and catch something. I mean, they're that active right now. I mean, one day we had 22 pounds our first day, and next day it wasn't as good as that, but it was pretty dang good. But
yeah, that was in our best five.
yeah, yeah, and but the thing about it is I love throwing anything with a blade on it. I mean that's my niche. I'm comfortable with it, or a Texas rig. But here lately, I've been downsizing a lot, which is something that I'm kind of you know adventuring in, like the micro chatterbait that from lurches that we've been throwing, and then but a swim bait. And I know you talked about that a while ago. Uh, a swim bait with, and I was even, this is what we was throwing on Nigga Jack. I mean, we was throwing a 1/8 ounce jig head with a 3-3 swim bait, and was just killing them it through the grass and stuff. And I have come to find out that I love a swim bait. I mean, I absolutely love to throw a swim bait. It is so easy. I mean, and it comes through the grass. And it don't pick up a lot of trash, and just how active those fish are on a swim bait is crazy to me. Just ticking it on top of the grass and coming through there. But I found a new love for swim baits, and I mean I really, that's like one of up there with some of my favorite bladed baits that I like to throw as well.
So, with the going to kind of keep it on the Tennessee River with Gunnersville and stuff. And like right now, primarily the spawn is pretty much done for. We're still going to have a little few here and there that's going to be spawning probably till
Hmm.
what the end of May that you can find. Um,
Yep.
and with them making that transition into the the summer pattern and stuff like that, how are you adjusting from being able to from them being up shallow to being deep? Because I know that you're known to be for being a deep water angler. So how are you transitioning with them transitioning out?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends, like on the river system or the lake that you're on. If we're talking Tennessee River, like you were saying, I mean, it's the Tennessee River is really diverse. You've got a lot of different lakes that set up differently. For example, like Lake Gunnersville, that's where I live right now. I've lived there for the last 2 years and spent a lot of time out there. But at Gunnersville, it's different. It's more different than any of the other lakes on the Tennessee River chain
Yeah.
because the amount of grass that it has, and a lot of fish in Gunnersville like to live in that grass, and we've got more eelgrass now than we've ever had. And hey, can y'all hear me?
We got
Yeah.
you. Can you hear us? Good old I-20.
Hmm. It's crazy, man.
You there, brother? Ah. So
It's funny that he says that Gunnersville is getting a lot of eelgrass. Niggajack is too. It's start a lot of that eelgrass is starting to kind of. I don't want to say take over Niggajack, but you're seeing a lot more of it.
yeah,
Or something.
they with
Can you hear
you
me?
being on I-20, there's no telling. It's
Yeah,
spotty
you can
No,
here,
hear
it
us.
there,
says
and
I've got full bars. But anyway, what I was saying was the Tennessee River is very diverse, and Gunnersville is very different because of the eelgrass. It's growing all the way from 2-3 foot all the way out to 12 to 15 foot in some places, and
yeah,
a lot of that grass, and a lot of those fish spawn around that grass and live in that grass year round. So when it comes to Gunnersville, I really try to fish offshore as much as possible. I really like fishing offshore. The shad spawn is a big deal this time of year when those fish are moving off. And May is really that into April, mid to late April and the beginning of May is really that prime shad spawn time. So I try to look a lot for a good shad spawn in the mornings. A lot of those fish, when they're transitioning back out to get into some of those deeper areas, they'll stop on a shad spawn and feed up before they slide back out deep. And sometimes you can catch some of the biggest fish, of your life on a shad spawn too. So I usually try to look for a shad spawn. But like I was saying with Gunnersville, there's not as much deep stuff as there used to be with all that grass. That grass has covered up a lot of stuff, and it's also scattered a lot of those fish throughout that throughout that lake. Um, but I'm more so looking for some groups offshore. I'm looking for a shad spawn. I'm looking for some staging places. Some secondary stuff that those fish can stop on from the bank, um, from when they come to the bank to go out to the ledges. I'm looking for some of that secondary stuff that they'll stop on. I'm also looking for some of that stuff that's way out there that some of those fish go straight to, and some of those
right,
early spawners. Some of those early spawners sometimes will be some of the biggest fish in the lakes, some of those fish that spawn first, and then some of those fish that spawn late. Seems like that those first few spawners and those last few spawners are sometimes the biggest fish. So I try to try to follow that group of fish, kind of from secondary stuff out to the main channel and like that. But every lake's different. You got Wheeler, you've got the flats, you've got Chickamauga, and there's not as much grass there. But definitely looking for a shad spawn first thing in the morning. And then after that, I'm going to look for secondary stuff close to those spawning areas, whether it be a brush pile or a shell bar or something those fish should stop on and feed up. And then I'm also looking farther up and looking out there on the river where those fish are headed. So that's kind of my three-step approach.
man.
That's good info. That's good info because Colin and I we don't necessarily fish ledges. I would like to learn more about it, but I mean, we'll fish anything just to try it out. But you know, that's a good
Well,
approach and
we
information.
we grew up in a different era to where we were taught to beat the banks. That's where the fish are, was beating the banks. And
Yeah,
so um but then as technology's gotten better, we we've gone out there, but uh we have better success beating the bank.
and docks.
Because the ledge fishing sucks now. The ledge fishing's not good anymore.
And which and
I'm telling you guys, like I'm telling you, 3 years ago, I mean, hell, 2 years ago, you could go out there and catch them every cast. I mean, nowadays you're lucky to catch one or two off of a spot.
yeah.
It's unbelievable the amount of pressure that all these fish get around the country. But I think the biggest thing is, you've got technology, you've got people getting better. I think there's more people in fishing right now than there ever has been. You've got more people at the boat ramps during a weekday than you've ever seen in your life.
Oh,
Um, So I mean, there's
Chickamauga's
more people
crazy.
fishing every day. There's more
Yeah.
tournaments, and those fish are getting pounded. And but I mean, that's just part of it. You know, you get out there and have fun with it, and that's what we're here to do. But yeah, I mean, those fish are getting pressured. It's not like the good old days where you idle over a place and see 200 fish on downscan and throw your plug behind the boat and catch one every cast. I mean, it's struggle to get a bite now.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember like where you could go out and uh and throw like uh, a wobblehead out there, and I mean, you just stroke them out on the ledges. But Chickamauga here, and which you know, Tucker, that and it's just like that on Gunnersville. Any kind of ledges that produces anything, you might as well just take a number and just wait on your turn to be able to fish it because everybody and their brothers out there fishing it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's
um,
exactly right.
we got a question. It says, "You're known for deep water fishing. How did you develop that skill as a so young, and how has that helped you on on diverse fisheries across the country?"
Uh, so I grew up fishing the Coosa River. I grew up fishing like a river rat. I mean, I grew up swimming a jig and flipping and throwing a frog and fishing the bank, chatterbait, all that stuff. Um, and it really, I mean, I've always fished a bunch of tournaments every year, and I've tried to put myself in a lot of different scenarios every year. I've tried to broaden, my the places that I go fish every year. I always try to go to new places, and that's something that's helped me. Is I haven't always done good on all these different places. I've been to some of these places many many times, and some of these places across the country I've been to 5, 10 times now. So I mean I've spent a lot of time on the road. I've spent a lot of time away from home traveling, and whether it be by myself or with my friends or behind the scenes, like people don't really see that. Like you see a lot of stuff online and on social media of like our tournaments and stuff, but when we're not having tournaments, I'm gone going somewhere fishing or going somewhere. It's just a lot of time that I've spent out there on the road driving around and going to these different places. I think have helped me. I think growing up on the Coosa River, fishing against that caliber of fishermen, they're amazing anglers there. I think growing up on the Tennessee River as well, like spending, I think that was one of the best moves I've ever made. I moved there 2 years ago, and have been fishing that place, pretty much every chance that I get for the last 2 years, and I think that's helped me tremendously on enhancing different techniques and stuff like that when you're fishing for that caliber of fish on very pressured lakes like Lake Gunnersville. It really helps you when you go to some of these places that don't see as many boats and you're kind of
Yeah,
looking for that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think just college opens and all those tournaments traveling around, I think it's helped me get to the next step.
yeah. So with I kind of want to kind of go back to like the high school and college, um, because you have a partner in the boat and like in college. Was your partner from Alabama or were they from a different state?
They're from Alabama.
Oh, okay. Okay, and
Yep.
one thing that I like about especially like the college is because you could have the opportunity to be able to fish with people that has totally different techniques and stuff to a strong suit than what you actually do, and you're able to learn off of each other on both of that in live
Yeah.
time to be able to learn.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You got a lot of different diverse fisheries and stuff all around the country, and when you go to a college like that, all those different people, that come to that college to fish, they've got all kinds of different ways that they fish, different techniques they use, and it's really cool getting to go to some of these colleges. Like I went to Auburn, for example, but just going to Auburn, there were so many different people from all different parts of the country. We had guys from California, we had guys from Arizona, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee. You've got all these different guys coming in from different parts of the country, and it's really cool to see how different guys like that break down bodies of water, because you can always learn something. And with fishing, we're always learning something new. It's always adapting, and we're
Right.
having to change with the fish because the fish are adapting as well.
Yeah. Now, I was kind of surprised a little bit, like when y'all had gone to like when, especially like I want to talk about Gunnersville, like when, like I know like DC and stuff like that. Last year with the Red Chris, he showed out kind of like the smallmouth bite at the dam part. Um, and to me, it kind of surprised me that didn't open up to kind of see other tournaments to where other anglers and stuff had tried to catch those bigger smallmouth up north on Gunnersville than what they really have been.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of tournaments you can't weigh in any fish from Tennessee, so you're not allowed to
Uh,
run up the river and go into Tennessee and bring those fish
Mm.
back. You're only like allowed like one smallmouth in some tournaments. In some tournaments, you're not allowed to bring them back. So I don't ever mess with it. And with how good the bottom of the lake's been fishing, I
yeah,
mean, or like down, from around Goose Pond down to the dam. I mean, it's honestly you're wasting your time if you run up there. If
yeah,
in a all fish counts format where you're trying to catch as many as you can, and you get on a school of
big smaller,
some
yeah,
3 and 4 pound smallmouth, like yeah, you're gonna do pretty well. But when you go down the lake and catch, there's gonna be guys that come in with 5 or 6 pounders. So
yeah,
they outweigh the smallmouth, but it's definitely fun. I've been up there and caught them up there before, but yeah, it just can't compete with down the lake.
yeah. Now, um, how big is current on Gunnersville?
It's a huge deal. I mean, we haven't had any current at all recently. Like the last
No,
2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's been like 7,000, which is nothing. They've been
nothing.
turning the current off at night, so current's a big deal for those fish to set up and for those fish to sit down on the bottom. When you don't have a current like that, all those fish get up and move around, and they start getting all squirrely and don't want to sit still, and they want to swim around and float around and not eat anything. But when you get that current, that really pushes those fish down into those current breaks and gets them set up to where you can catch them cast after cast.
Right. Now, has Gunners when is Gunnersville going to get to summer pull?
Uh, I'm not really sure. I've got it on my phone. I haven't really kept up with the water level because it doesn't fluctuate a ton. I know it fluctuates a little bit, um, but I'm not sure on that. I'd have to look at my
Yeah,
deep dive app.
yeah, because I think they're going to try. I think Chickamauga is supposed to be Memorial Day is when it's supposed to be up at summer pool.
Okay.
Well,
I know
this rain has helped out a lot too, though.
Yeah,
they drop Chickamauga a lot more than they do Gunnersville. I think that's how it is, but I'm not sure exactly. How far do they drop Chick?
7 to 8 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. They don't ever drop Gunnersville like that. It's probably only like a foot or 2 foot. They don't really
Yeah,
drop it much.
yeah, it's crazy. You could stand on the deck of your boat and you see the summer pool line up above your head. You're like, goodness gracious. So,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
what I know we kind of been jumping all over here. Uh, but what has been like the past 2 years for you? What has been the biggest thing that you have learned? Or it could be good or bad, not to do this or this is what I should be doing.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've learned probably, man, that's a tough question. There's I've learned a lot of different things. um, I would say probably fish what you're confident in. Spend the tournament just like another practice day. Don't get too worked up. Don't get too locked in on what you find in practice. Um, I've also learned catch as much as you can every single day. Don't try to save anything because I'd say 95% of the time when you try to save stuff, it doesn't end up working out, and you probably should have just caught all that you could catch because they end up either leaving or the guys catch them way better than you thought they were going to catch them, and you end up halfway down the pack. So catch as
Right.
much as you can every day. Do what you're confident in, and yeah, don't listen to doc talk. You got a bunch of guys that are gonna you got doc talk people in the tournaments and stuff saying, well, I'm catching this, I'm catching that, but you can't listen to any of that stuff. You just got to go. It's you against the fish, and it's not you against the other competitors. It is, but it's really you against how good you can catch those fish.
Now, what is the one thing that, or it could be more than one. I've asked the question before that maybe you have taken I guess you could call it a nugget, right, from an older hand that's been in the series that's got the battle wounds and stuff like that you have really cling to. What is that one nugget?
I was really close with Aaron Martins. He was one of my best friends, and knew him for several years. But the biggest thing, I would say, one of the most important things that I learned from him was have fun while you're out there. We get to go fishing, and like in my case, I get to fish for a living, and I'm so blessed to be able to do that. It's what I've wanted to do since I was a little kid, and to be able to do this as a reality is a dream come true for me. I could be doing whatever, working at McDonald's or whatever. It's such a dream to be able to fish for a living and just not take it for granted. And that's something that it's hard when you're fishing tournaments and when you're in the moment. You're traveling to all these different places and you've got so many distractions, but I always try to have fun with it. I try to take a step back and really take it all in and really feel, look back and see how grateful and how amazing the opportunity is to be able to fish for a living and just to go fishing with your friends, man. It's a dream come true, and it's a big deal. I mean, a lot of people don't get to do this around the world, so we just can't take it for granted. We got to have fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like to get worked up about all the negativity. I mean, there's so much negativity in the sport. There's a lot of couch warriors that like to get on Facebook and all that stuff, and I don't ever look at that stuff because there's no point in looking at it. You just got to go out there and have fun. I mean, that's what it's all about, having fun and making memories with your friends.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
kind of like talking about like the negativity and stuff like that. Like we see it, and I know you see it, and all the younger anglers that they say that the younger anglers cannot fish without the forward facing sonar, and I totally hate that because I mean you got yourself, and then like Trey McKinney, Tyler Williams, and stuff like that. Y'all are sticks even without the forward facing sonar. I've seen, uh, like Tyler Williams go out there, and as long as he's got a football head jig in his hand, he doesn't matter what he's looking at. He just goes and he'll chunk at anything pretty much.
Yeah,
And
no, definitely.
I think I, that people get the wrong idea just because y'all grew up in the time to where that was the forward facing sonar was coming out. It was getting big, and y'all were able to have it on your boat at a younger age and be able to play with it. And as many tournaments as you have fished through high school, collegiate, the opens and stuff like that. Um, I mean, you've got thousands of hours of looking at a screen, and anybody that has that much time looking at a screen being able to have that opportunity is definitely going to be better than people that's only had a few hours looking at a screen.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it depends on scenarios and circumstances. Like, but I would say the biggest thing, like, I grew up fishing without it. I didn't have it. I didn't use it in a tournament until I was, I think, about late freshman year or sophomore year of college that I started using it. And I'm 24 now, so I'm using it for, I don't know, let's say 6 years, 7 years, or something like that. But
Yeah,
I've so I've been able to fish through that change with it and without it. Um, you've got the way that the fishing is right now, and the way that the Elite Series is. You can't survive if you just solely depend on forward facing sonar, or if you
right.
solely depend on fishing the bank. You've got to be a diverse angler no matter where you go. And when you get to a trail where everybody's good and everybody can do everything, you've got to be good at it all. You can't just be a one trick pony. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I could definitely, I mean, I could see, some people that get raised with just scoping, and that's all they know how to do. But I mean, I think if you spend a lot of time out there and put your time in, I think that there's a lot more that there's a lot more to offer. Especially with these younger kids growing up now. I mean, I think they're starting to ban it in a lot of these high school tournaments and stuff like that. The kids can't even use it. I don't know. I think it's all crazy, but
yeah.
I like to fish with it. I like to fish without it. I grew up fishing without it, and then I've had a lot of success with it, and I've had a lot of success without it. I was fortunate to win that Ultimate Angler Championship on Gunnersville for my
Without it, wasn't
program
it?
without it last
Yeah.
year, and I think that was a good thing for the younger generation to prove a point that not all of us are just scopers and we can catch them without it. I think it all comes down to how much time do you put in on the water, and what kind of sacrifices do you want to make in your life. Do you want
Yeah.
to play baseball, and do you want to fish for half the year, and do you want to play baseball for the other half of the year, or do you want to go out in the woods and sit in a tree stand and hunt during the winter time, or do you want to go out on the lake and grind in the winter time when it's cold? It just depends on what your goals are and what you like to do. But I don't think it's fair for the guys that want to go sit in the tree stand to complain about the guys that are out there busting their butt and fishing year round.
I
So
agree.
I think it
I
just
Yeah,
agree.
depends on what you like to do,
Yeah.
and it just depends on how much time you put in and how much success you want to give yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into what you was talking about earlier about all the pressure the pressure on all these lakes now, and how you have to be a diverse angler because there is a lot of people out on the water nowadays. We see it around our local areas. We I mean 10, 20 years ago, I'm looking at areas that people didn't even fish are now fishing. And I'm not talking about one boat, I'm talking about several boats, And so that really does tie into what you were saying about how you do need to be a diverse angler. Learn your electronics, learn your waters, and go out there and use every bit of it as a tool. I mean, because all that's going to help you, in the long run to be that successful angler, hunter, whatever you are, in life
Yeah.
itself.
And like the last thing I was saying, like, not everybody can afford to go fishing all the time. Like,
Right.
most people in the world have to go work a 9 to 5 job, and they have family, and they have kids and stuff like that. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these younger guys, you know, really do well, because they don't have families and kids that they've got to take care of. They're able to go fishing during the week. They're able to, especially guys that are fishing for a living, they're able to have that financial backing to go do it during the week. A
Yeah.
lot of guys don't. I've got a lot of friends that fish on the weekends and fish weekend tournaments, and that's totally fine as well. And I understand their side too. It just depends on what sacrifices that you want to make. So.
Yeah. Now, when you're, let's say, you're fishing a tournament, how fast are you to pull the trigger to to make a move? Like, let's say you're catching stuff that's on secondary points, but then that bite kind of changes and stuff like that. How fast are you to pull the trigger to move and try something different? And what gives you the mindset to be it? What are you thinking about during that approach?
Uh, Man, it depends where I'm at. You got to give me some more details.
Well, all right, let's say, I mean, since we've been talking about Gunnersville, let's stay on Gunnersville. Um, let's say that let's say it's end of May. It's starting to heat up into May, into June, and stuff like that, and everything's
Yeah,
transitioning.
yeah,
And then that bite that's there really there's some sitting out on the ledges, and then there's some still kind of on them secondary points. Um, so what if that bite kind of just slows down, or you're not getting the quality? Um, is what is the final deciding factor from that aspect of, to be able to say, all right, I need to go check out. Uh, I need to go check that the ledge outside, out on the ledge, or the ledge is out on the main river or
hey,
something.
can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us? I think I-20 got us again.
Yep. It definitely did.
So, and that's one thing, like for you know, Pappy, for us that we.
I got you again.
All right,
Yeah.
there you go. Can you hear him, Pappy?
Yeah. Yeah. I got him.
Y'all
So
got me?
when do you
Yes,
decide for
sir.
that to go to make that move? Is it because you might be catching the not the
Yeah.
quality fish, or
Yeah, I mean, on a place like Gunnersville, it just depends on where those bigger than average size fish are for me. I mean, if they're on that secondary stuff, then I'm gonna try to figure out a way to get those fish to bite, um, because all those big fish out there are really smart, um, and there's so many big fish everywhere. It's hard to leave big fish to go find more big fish when you're looking at some. I mean,
right?
let's say you've got some big fish on some secondary stuff, and then you're not able to get them to bite. I might slide around and fish some stuff that's closer to the river. Some stuff that maybe has some more current on it. Some stuff that maybe those fish are more set up and willing to bite. Sometimes that might be a thing. Sometimes if it's some of that secondary stuff, they don't have as much current that's pushing that bait down, and they're not as in a feeding mood. So it just kind of depends. It depends on weather too. If you've got
Yeah,
a storm coming in, something like a storm that's rolling in or something, and the pressure's dropping, you're gonna want to go to your best stuff, the place that's got the biggest ones that you know of, because as soon as that pressure drops, those fish are gonna start activating, and you want to be around those biggest fish when that storm rolls in, because that's when those big ones bite. It's just
right.
all those different scenarios and experiences that I've had on the water. Being out there and experiencing those different conditions and kind of seeing how those fish react to different weather conditions and different water temperatures. You kind of just get a feel for it a little bit more. I'm not saying the biggest expert on Gunnersville or any lake or around, but I've spent a lot of time fishing these different lakes, and um, it seems like a gut instinct when you're fishing around that kind of stuff. Do I need to move deeper? Do I need to move shallower? If you're around a population of fish, around a population of big fish, there's more big fish in that area. You know, you're not seeing the only big fish in that one area. So they're somewhere
Right.
close. They're either going shallower or they're going deeper.
Yeah. We got another question um, from a viewer. It says, uh, "Is boat positioning more important on a river than it is on like a lake system?" I guess I mean kind of. I guess a highland reservoir or something.
Is boat positioning more important on a highland reservoir than a river system? Is that what the question was?
Is it more important on a river system than like on a highland reservoir?
Uh, Man, honestly, I would say it's more significant on probably a highland reservoir. I mean, it depends. Like on a highland reservoir, you've got clear water most of the time. So
Right.
those fish, they can't hear your scope, they can't hear your transducers because they actually hear at a different frequency than your transducers pinging. What they hear is your trolling motor turning and your boat slapping the waves, and then they can also see your boat and they can see the shadows. So on those highland reservoirs, I like to keep my boat a lot farther away from those fish, and I try to get downwind of those fish just so that they're not seeing the shadow, they're not hearing the boat splash. I'm trying to keep my boat at least 60 feet away from those fish when the water's crystal clear like that. In a river system, you know, you've got more, most of the time, you've got more current, you've got a little bit more stained water. So boat positioning isn't as affected. You know, those fish aren't as affected if your boat's a little bit closer to them. I would say boat positioning on a river, though, you know, you want to be around those more pinpoint areas like current breaks or objects that are in the water. With on a highland reservoir where that water's clear, you're going to have more fish that are roaming, more fish that are kind of looking around for stuff, and you've got to be very particular with how you move your boat around. You got to be super quiet.
Yeah. And then we got Michael asked, "Is any significance to the writing under on the underside of Tucker's hat brim?"
That's Dylan Nutt, the guy.
I think we lost him again.
Yep.
All I heard was that it was Dylan Nutt. So you got the
Yep.
Bassmaster Classic winner.
Hey, you got me. I
Now we
Yeah.
went
got the
under a bridge.
so uh
Here he comes.
yeah. So it's you've got the Bassmaster Classic
Hello, hello.
winner's signature, right? Can you hear us? All right. But what we're gonna do, he's again, guys, he's driving to to South Carolina to do some pre fishing for a tournament that he's got here. I think he said 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's all good, bro. It's all good.
After he won the classic.
Oh, that's
Heck yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Dylan's one of my good buddies. I like the Nut Brothers. They're hilarious. We all went to the bar after the classic, and he literally just ripped my hat off my head and signed it. So it's been my favorite hat for the last year. So uh, I just kept wearing it.
There you go.
So, uh, but what was it like to be able to fish in the Bassmaster Classic? Speaking of the Classic winner,
Yeah, that was a dream come true, man. I've wanted to fish that tournament for a long time. I remember the first classic that I went to. I think it was Jordan Lee, or it might have been the first tournament I watched. I remember Jordan Lee winning,
right?
and I actually got to fish a tournament with Jordan Lee last weekend, which was cool on Gunnersville. We had a great time there, but I just remember seeing him hold up that trophy, and I remember the confetti. I remember him screaming like that, and I've always wanted to get to that tournament. And in college, I had 2 seconds in classic or in college classic brackets that if I had won, I would have made the classic. I had two
Mm.
seconds in two opens that if I had won, I would have made the classic. I had another tournament that I came in second that I would have made the classic. So I had like 4 or 5 chances to make the classic. So finally making the classic this last year was something that I've wanted to get to for a long time, and I think it's a big stepping stone for me. To be able to say that I made it to that tournament's a big deal. It's a huge deal for me and my family. It's just an awesome accomplishment. My uncle and my grandfather grew up fishing, and they grew up fishing all around the house, and they used to take me all the time around the Coosa River, Logan Martin, Lay Lake, and everything like that. And they love fishing, just as much as anybody else. So to be able to kind of live out their dream on the big stage is really special to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, do you fish? Like, let's say you're at home and you're just fun fishing. Do you primarily just bass fish, or do you go after any another species?
It's mostly bass. It's mostly bass. I have done a little bit of crappie fishing. I've done a little bit of saltwater fishing, but most of the time when I go out there, I'm looking for bass. But I like doing anything, fishing for anything really. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always when I grew up, I was like hopping in creeks and ponds, like catching stuff like with my hands, snakes and lizards and frogs and all that crap,
yeah,
crawfish. I like catching stuff and and I like catching bass too.
Yeah, and you've done very well for yourself with catching them. So,
absolutely.
but I didn't know that you and Pappy
I
had
appreciate
something
it.
in common. You like catching snakes, and Pappy does too. So,
No, I don't either. No, 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 no. Speaking of
He
snakes,
looks like he'd run from a snake.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of snakes, we was at my brother and I was on Niggajack the other day, and we was up in running water, part of Niggajack Lake. Anyways, we was fishing the grass line, and we flipped around, and we were heading out to go somewhere else. So we went up underneath the bridge, and I'm a very observant kind of person. So I look over to my right and I see something swimming. Don't look like no beaver, and it definitely ain't no fish. And I tapped my brother on the shoulder. I said, "There's a snake." And he looked over at it and he looked at me and I said, "Don't you do it? Don't even think about doing it." And he said, "Oh, Josh, it'll be all right. It's just a little BO snake." I said, "Justin," I said, "you better put this boat in the wind right now." I said, "Because I'm not fooling with you with that snake." And so he knows how I am about snakes. Colin can tell you about a story too. I don't like them things, man. I don't like them at all. Me and
He ain't
snakes.
gonna hurt you. He ain't gonna
Yeah.
jump. He ain't gonna jump in the boat and wrap around your neck
And
or nothing.
I would rather have a gator in a boat with me than a snake. I mean, that's just where I'm at in
You're
life right now.
crazy.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
he
ain't
is.
either.
You're
He
crazy.
is. Hey, and Tucker, I'll tell you this: we went out. I guess it was last year or the year before, and we were on Chickamauga, and we were fishing in the back of this pocket, and there was a road that wrapped around the back of this pocket, and there was a good sized cottonmouth that was stretched out on the road. It was one of them. It is just now starting to warm up, have them good days, and they were just now starting to kind of come out.
Oh, it's at
And
least
this
20
snake was
foot
just stretched out across the road, and it was probably
across the road.
well, I mean, it was only like 3 foot, maybe
And no, no, no,
4 foot.
no.
I mean, it
That,
was not. I mean, it was not a big snake, but
it's 20 plus.
and and so he 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 was on the trolling motor, and I point out to or no, you see the snake, and the next thing I know. It's like my trolling motor's turned on 10 and we're totally missing this spot that we went back to this pocket to fish just because there's a snake that was 20 yards away from us on the road.
He got in the
And he
water.
totally misses the whole hole that he says, nope,
Yeah,
not
I got
happening.
a buddy like that. I got a buddy like
Mm.
that that's from California, Andrew Loberg. He's a cool dude. I travel with him. He don't like snakes, and I guess he's because he's from California. He's like probably never seen one in his life. But whenever he moved down south, he's like, if there's a snake on this bank, I'm not fishing down this bank. I'm like, dude, the snake is sitting there, and you troll past him, he is not gonna come bite you. I'm telling you, if you go hit him with a stick or you step on his head, he's gonna bite you. But you're good. Just keep trolling.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
fool them
I
things.
had a little snake crawl into my boat at the last elite tournament. I picked him up. It
See,
was a
that's
little
where
garter snake. Picked him up and
see,
threw him back in the water.
yeah, no. See, negative. That's where I jump in the water. I forget that. There ain't no boat. There ain't no snake getting in the boat with me. I mean, either the snake is dying or I'm dying. One of the two. That's just how it's going to be. I'm telling you, that ain't happening.
Yeah. So, well, brother, we've had you on for an hour, and we we got a couple more questions, and we'll get off of here for you and let you finish getting on down the road.
Yeah, I'm
So,
driving. You ask away. I'm good. I'm just driving down the road.
um, who has been the biggest mentor or influence in your fishing career so far?
I mean, I would definitely say Aaron Martins was a big mentor of mine. I didn't know him, but for about like 2 to 3 years,
Yeah,
um, I was able to spend some time with him, but unfortunately, he ended up passing away, and
yeah.
I didn't get to spend as much time as I would have liked to. And
And
I know a lot of people feel the same.
the fishing world would have been totally different if he was still kicking around with this. I think he would have ate up all this forward facing sonar, and because that kind of fit into his wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, he probably would have been one of the best with it.
Yeah.
Um, but I was able to go fishing with him, a handful of times and learn some
Wow.
stuff from him. And he was not just like in the fishing aspect, but like from a mental aspect, having fun with it, not getting too frustrated. Being able to roll with the punches when it comes to tournament fishing. That was something he taught me. Um, Joey Nania was an awesome mentor that I had when I was really young, getting into fishing. He's an awesome guy. He's actually just got ordained to be a pastor near my hometown, near Logan Martin. So that's really awesome. He's been an amazing guy. He's a professional fisherman from around Logan Martin in the Coosa. Um, and then I would just say my parents as well. Like my dad and my mom have been great mentors. I mean, they've especially when it comes to being nice to people, when it comes to respecting others, when it
Right.
comes to money management, not blowing all your money. It's just I've had some great mentors in my life, like my parents and like Joey and Aaron, and people that God has put in my life that I really appreciate and I'm very blessed to have for sure.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Uh, what is one bait or technique that has been your confident bait this season?
Uh, well, I mean, this season we've been to pretty much we went to Gunnersville. I didn't do that good there. Never seen the water 38 degrees. It was pretty terrible for me. But I would say, I mean, we've been to some weird rivers, and I would say this year so far it's been a swim jig. I've been at
Yeah.
like the top. I had a top 10 at Tom Bigby, which was really cool. I think I was the youngest guy in the top 10. I was standing there next to Mark Menendez and stuff, and it was pretty cool. It was a no scope tournament, uh, and I caught all my fish swimming a jig there. So I mean, I would say a swim jig's probably been my biggest confidence bait so far. We haven't really been to been to anywhere where the minnow or the football jig has played a big deal in yet. So I would say so far it's probably been a swim jig for me.
Awesome.
Looking ahead um, to the rest of the 2026 Elite season, what are you most excited about, and where do you think you'll see Tucker Smith make the most noise?
Make the most noise?
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. That's a tough one to pick because I don't want to say something then it just totally backfires and everybody tries to get me for fantasy fishing and I just crap the bed like what happened at Gunnersville with me this year. uh, I don't know, man. I'm excited for every tournament. I mean, I like going up north. I like the St. Lawrence River. I like Champlain. Even I mean, we're not going to have live scope there, so it's going to be basically a completely different lake. Um, I'm excited for the Ultimate Angler Championship again on Gunnersville this year. Uh, I'm excited for everything. I just like going fishing. I like the challenge of going to new places and trying to figure them out. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to try to make the classic again next year. I had a rough couple events, and I've had two pretty good events. So I'm kind of sitting middle of the pack right now. I need to have some good finishes at these next few tournaments and bump back up in the points. But I'm just looking forward to try to climb it back up in the AOY.
Well, we can't wait to see you there because I have confidence in you. I know you're gonna pull it off. I mean, you're brilliant. You got to you're bright. You're very ambitious. So there's no way you won't be in the classic next year. Is what I'm trying to say.
I know I'm ready to
Hope
interview
so.
you again on media day. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
we need to make that a yearly tradition.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah.
I just wish my phone wouldn't crash every 5 minutes and we'd be perfect.
Nah,
No,
you
you're good.
good.
You're
You
good.
good, man. You're
Uh,
Sorry
good.
about that.
no, you're good. Uh, we have another question that says, uh, how long do you think it will be before you catch Patrick Walters with century belts?
I don't know how many Patrick has.
3.
Oh, he's got three.
Yeah,
Man, I don't know. It depends on like which lakes we go to. If they keep taking us to these rivers, it's gonna be pretty tough.
it's going to be.
If they take us back to Fork and Texas and Florida when it's prime time and stuff like that, I think we'll have some shots to do it again. But yeah, I mean a century belt. I got one at Fork this last year, and that was something that I've had in the gold list for a while as well, and I didn't expect to happen this soon, but yeah, I mean the Century Belt, 25 pounds a day for a 4-day event it's
Massive.
wild to think about.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not gonna talk crap about anybody. I'm coming for them, but I'm not gonna say that we're gonna be put in the best scenarios. We might be. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Now, kind of speaking of Patrick Walters,
He's a great
and
angler.
you getting, and he's a good, and I'll say this because he's a good buddy of mine, and but is there anybody in the elites that is as big a sandbagger as Patrick Walters?
No, no, not anywhere close.
Yeah,
If he's
he'll.
got 10 pounds on Bass Track, it's 20 plus. I swear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've
It's
seen him.
crazy.
I've gone to quite a few tournaments, and he'll pull up and to the dock, and I'll go out there and I'll just start chit chatting with him. I'm like, "What do you got?" And he says, "Oh man, I may have 11, 12 pounds," and the next thing you know, he's hitting
1878 or something.
18, 19 pounds, and then I look at him. I says, "What happened to 11, 12?" I was like, "Good." So
It's hilarious.
yeah,
I like how he does that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, he it's something else, and I ask people all the time, is there
I
anybody
think it's
else
good to
out
be a
there?
mystery
And he
sometimes, you
knows
know?
it. Yeah, he knows it. And so, well, brother, we got one last question, and that we ask everybody that comes on. And Pappy, you want to take it away, brother?
Absolutely, I sure do. Tucker, man, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege, and dude, you just don't know. This is. I'm glad we got to have this. Got to have this podcast with you. I mean, it's one of the check marks I can kind of check off my list now, and you've been great, and I'm a huge fan. They just keep chugging, and hey, keep throwing, and sky's the limit for you, but with all that being said, with if there was one person that you could fish with, whether they be here with us today or not, who would that person be and why?
Man, definitely Aaron Martin's for sure.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
I miss him. I
I
miss him
I, I
bad.
kind of thought
I want
that
to
was
go fish with
coming.
him again, and I want to go live scoping with him. I want to
Yeah,
see what he can do with the scope.
yeah.
yeah.
'Cause he'd probably wreck my butt with it.
Uh, yeah.
Thank you guys for having me, though. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh man,
For,
we greatly
man.
appreciate it. We really do. We really
Yeah.
do. And
So,
I we
and real quick, Tucker, can if people are wanting to follow you, what is the best way to follow you?
I've got an Instagram. It's just Tucker Smith Fishing. I've YouTube. It's Tucker Smith Fishing as well. I've got a TikTok. I've got a Facebook. It's just Tucker Smith. But I run all the platforms. I got a YouTube series that I do. I started it last year where I kind of travel around to all these different tournaments, these elite tournaments, and I have a personal camera guy. His name's Hudson, and he actually comes with me and films the whole thing. So it's really cool to get a look behind the scenes of what it's like to be an Elite Series angler, kind of traveling around with some of our buddies and talking crap and catching bass. And then Instagram, I post a lot of my stuff, like what's going on in my life recently with tournaments and sponsor wise stuff. So yeah, you can reach me on Instagram or YouTube or uh, whatever you like. I got it
Yeah.
all.
awesome.
So, and
Well,
I'm gonna go back and I'll put links to all his social medias on the description, so it'd be easy for you just to go and just click on it. Make sure you go follow him, and if you're not following him, you are crazy because this kid is going somewhere. I say kid, he's 20. I guess he's kid to us, right, Pappy?
yeah,
But
yeah. If you
he
ain't following him, you're wrong.
but he has been tearing it up. I mean, in every scene that he or series that he has been in, and great guy. We've got to meet him a couple times, and every time it's been enjoyable to talk to you, Tucker.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
man,
I
we
appreciate
thank you
it.
so
Y'all
much,
too.
and we hope to see you here at a tournament here sometime soon.
Well, I can't let him go without saying roll tide.
Nah, you can't be saying that to me before
I had to do it.
War damn eagle, bud. I don't even
Tucker,
watch
it's been
football
it,
anymore. I don't
it's
even
been
watch
great,
football.
man. It's been
I
great. You've
watch
been you've
fishing.
been good for us, man. We appreciate you a lot. We
Yes,
really
sir.
do.
Thank
Yeah.
y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Hey, be
You
safe
too,
out there,
brother. Be
man.
safe.
Yes, sir. Y'all too. Thank you.
Yes, sir.